Okay, this is our next video here, and I'm going to play around with some stuff. Again, go through different things, just kind of show some tools and stuff and things for you guys. So this is Leonardo.ai. It's one of the AI-driven programs. Again, it's kind of a competitor for Midjourney and some of the other ones you may have heard. I like it a lot because you can train your own data set and kind of tell different things. Sorry about these kind of monstery guys. I was practicing with something else the other day. But what's cool is you can tell it how many images to make. You can tell it whether you want photo or real. They have a lot of really great tools. All of them are kind of based off these kind of tokens, like a lot of these AI programs are doing these days. But if you turn off some of the fancy features, it can be a little bit less token intensive. So you can see here, I am going to generate this for only 7 tokens. I definitely like, again, turning off those features because for most of the things I'm doing, I can get close enough. Like if I can get the prompt right or if I really want to play around with it, you can turn on those features. But I burn through those tokens just too fast. And I found that most of the time it works pretty good as it is. That's not very good. Let's see. Let's maybe simplify it. Large, glowing. All right, we'll try again. So this has an option over here for tiling. So it should be making tiling textures. The only way to know for sure is to kind of test these out. But I'm trying to come up with a cool texture for a 3D model. I don't even know. Maybe instead of alien hive, we'll change this to glowing green, yellow hexagons with a, I would say, dark border. And then I'm going to turn off Toxic Punk for the next one. Try it again if it doesn't work out. So you could add some things like these elements that kind of confine it to a specific look. So if you know you're trying to do something with a specific style, the elements can emulate these. Now, if you haven't worked with any AI tools, I really suggest start looking at what's out there and kind of testing them out. You know, I am not digging any of those. Let's try it without this thing turned on and go from there. So I could try turning on some of these other options. Maybe I will. Photo, prompt magic, alchemy. The thick dark border. And let's try this. Let's try to turn on all the bells and whistles. Let's go from there. For this, I definitely want the sizing to be square. All right, so we'll let this thing go. Hopefully, whatever it comes up with, we'll pick one. So let's take a look at what we got here so far. I don't hate this thing. It's weird. This one's kind of fun and alien. That one's at least alien looking. So let's just maybe download some of these. Download. This one's kind of weird and alien. That one I kind of like too. Download. Oh, this is so much better. Much more what I was hoping for. I don't know how well these are tiling, but this is definitely, turning on all those options definitely helped out a lot. All right. So I'm just going to take them. Let's pop back over to 3ds Max where I have my spatial level. And I have just used some primitive objects like we've been using so far in the course. You know, let's go ahead and drop this number a little lower. Especially if we end up throwing that giant mantis head in, it might not be a bad idea to have simple things. But both of these are just primitive objects, nothing too fancy. Let's go over here. We're going to go to compound objects. We'll do No, do pro boolean, maybe just boolean. I'll do pro boolean. And let's do subtraction set. Let's just start picking and do this one. No, that's not what I want. Control Z. Alright, we'll do union and pick it. There we go, that's better. Alright, now I will say what's nice about the Boolean tools is they can create complicated shapes really easily, but they also create some funky geometry, so that's why I have that strange shading. For this example, I don't really care. So it'll be perfectly fine and work out for what I want. Let's go ahead and convert this to poly. Come in here. I'm going to go ahead and next time I'm going to flip it inside out because so I'll go to polygon and I'm just going to do flip. Now by default in 3D, here before I do that, let's go ahead and flip it back because we can flip it as easy as that. In 3D, only one side renders. So I want this to be something the player was standing inside. So that's why I'm going to flip it. But before I do, I'm going to come over to my material editor and I'm going to show you. So by default, we have physical materials. And you can change these by clicking physical material to GLTF material. Remember that spatial is using GLTF files primarily for a lot of its models. Now you can upload object files in different 3D model formats, but this is going to be the one that it likes. So it should work without like a lot of issues. So I'm going to add one of those things I just created. Let's go ahead and go to access, downloads, and see what I got here. So I don't know. That one's kind of cool. That one's cool too. I'm gonna go with this one. I think that one's kind of neat. Let's try it out. Open, and there it is. And let's apply it. Okay, it looks pretty good. But you can see it's way too big, right? Our primitive objects already have mapping on it, so it might look okay because I use primitives. Although you can see there that edge looks bad, and I don't love it. So let's fix the mapping on this thing. And we're going to do kind of a quick fix. So instead of going to unwrap and kind of manually do, I'm just going to UPW map. You know, here kind of it's projecting the flat plane. It looks good, some of it, but not exactly. So when you're kind of trying to find a quick fix, sometimes you might need to play around with what looks best. Oh, that's not what I want. Undo. Click the gizmo here. This is kind of a real quick trick. You can actually transform the gizmo. But you can see, look, there's all those ugly edges. That's no good. Face ain't bad. I don't want that one. Let's do shrink wrap. I think shrink wrap maybe might work best. Okay. Let's see. Fit. Let's see. I don't know. I'm not loving it. Let's try changing it in here. We'll say 20. Okay. All right. I don't know. Again, I don't love that. As long as they all match, it should be a little bit better. And let's change our tiling to, I don't know, say 5 by 5. Okay. It's kind of weird, right? So let's play around with that. That looks pretty good. I feel like on the circle part, but the tunnel is just not playing nicely. Okay, so this might be one of those instances where, you know, you're fiddling with it, and, you know, I could kind of manually play with it and try to fix issues, but I feel like on the sphere, that looks good enough. That looks great. And I don't think it has to match perfect. So let's do this. Let's say we like that. Ba-boom. Let's go ahead and just grab polygon. So this is a really simple model, so it's going to be really easy just to grab part of it. And I'm going to click and add a UV map, just this part. Alrighty, it looks a lot better just with the default planar, but I think I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna do shrink wrap again on this one, and let's see, I hit 20 by 20 by 20, and 5 and 5. So often the W doesn't do much. It's the Z-axis, so that doesn't look too bad. Maybe we'll try playing around with this position a little bit. Just to kind of clean up those sides. So I don't hate that, but the end is kind of ugly, right? So I hate to say it, sometimes in a lot of these programs and the models you're making, it might require just a little bit of tinkering, trying to figure out what looks right to you, what you're happy with. Maybe having more tiles or less tiles might. So I kind of don't love how it looks on the edging down there. Raising it up helps a little. Yeah, I can pretty much live with that. Oh, that looks bad. Okay, so I don't love that. Let's delete the modifier and re-add it because I've messed it up so bad. For this, I am going to go with maybe face, no, box. Let's do a cylindrical. Or not cylindrical, cylindrical, and fit. Since we're doing a cylinder, let's just use the tool for it, right? Okay. Hold the cap, and let's play around with the tiling a bit. Overall, I can live with that. Okay, so you can see you can actually do different parts. So I'm pretty much happy with how that looks, except for I got to flip it now for it to work as my interior. Now it's important to note right now, this thing, you really wouldn't see it. Let me make sure. Did it flip everything? Yeah. So keep that in mind. I could play around in here. What's cool is all of these settings. So the metalness. So I kind of, I don't know if I want the roughness. So you can see I'm kind of just playing around a little bit. I wonder if I could, that's kind of ugly. I want it to look like it's glowing a little bit, I think. Not sure if I love it. It's fine. All right, we can kind of play around with it. All right, so we can feel free to play around with these different things. So you're happy with how it looks. Okay, so that looks great. I'm all done with it. Let's say we're like, I'm good. Look, my model looks great. File, we're going to export. And again, I'm going to put my stuff in 3D objects. I'm going to pick GLTF. I'm going to call it Hive because, I don't know, it looks like it. And let's see. Export. It looks good. Export. Okay. Now we can come back over here to spatial. And upload our cool new thing. we'll say create a space, upload custom space. All right. So let's add content and upload. Our 3D objects and my hive. It's a little funky. Okay. It is a little small, but we can fix that easy enough. So it's nice they added this fun like grid so you can see the flooring, which I think is really kind of a nice feature. And before, the old, I want to see if I have some old videos, the old way they did the floor, you would fall out of the world pretty easily. So let's see, that looks pretty good. I need to play around with some more settings of this sucker. But overall, it looks okay. I'm gonna go ahead. Let's go ahead and lock it. Oh, might need to. Oh, it looks like maybe the scale isn't so great, since the doorway you're supposed to walk through is itty bitty. All right, that looks pretty good. I don't want a pedestal. Oh, we'll see if this will work. This is definitely more how it used to be. Cancel. All right. All right, I have to play with this as I'm just falling forever. So that was a mistake. That's really funny. Alright, maybe I'll start over. So let's create a new space and let's try again. Alright, so might need to play with that a little bit more. What can we do? Alright, so we'll just put this guy in here. We'll go and scale it back up. Nice and enormous. Make sure we shrink it down so the floor lines up properly. Probably need to scale it up even more. Let's move the camera around. That'll work. And done. So we can kind of play around with this a little bit. But we can keep adding different content and elements as well, and you can find lots of them. So I talked a little bit about Sketchfab in some of the videos. Let me show you. Sketchfab's pretty cool. So you can basically find stuff and add it. So like here's this cool Star Trek corridor. So if I wanted I don't know, alien stuff. Oh, Alien World Explorer. Let's add that one. So for that one, I might need to. It looks like it's got already got kind of a base or something. So. Lining it up can take a little bit. Probably needs work. Alright, but you can see here, so So here's this alien base thing that I've added from Sketchfab. And you can add all kinds of neat stuff from Sketchfab to kind of to your scene. Basically making kind of like a 3D art gallery of different 3D models that you like. If you have your own models, of course, you just hit the plus sign, upload anything you want. So I can upload that head I was working on, or whatever other 3D models I have that I've worked on and feel like I want to add to the scene. So here's my mantis head. So if I wanted to add it, I probably want to texture it first. You know, but here is like the model I was using for my avatar. I can bring it up. Here it is in the same format. So you can see I worked on this for a bit. I have all the different pieces. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense and that helps. So for your midterm, you're welcome to create a brand new world or environment like this. And if I wanted to, now that I have this in here, I could go back to 3ds Max or ZBrush or something and start making other elements to add in here. I could create some more hexagon looking shapes and add these different textures to it, or just keep fixing and fiddling with my environment. It looks like I made it maybe a little too shiny. I don't love how that looks. And so I might need to kind of play around with that a little bit with my settings. So yeah, render quality, chat. Yeah, my environment settings. So alright, I can add my entrance point. So if I wanted people to spawn in here, if I wanted to spawn in the hallway, and those kind of things. All right, hopefully that helps. Hopefully your creative things are flowing. The last thing I want to definitely mention, for those of you that have had some previous game experience and are familiar with something like the Unity game engine, you can actually click the upload custom environment and you can create an entire level, entire game in something like Unity and bring it in. So you can do that as well. So if you've taken the game development course, or if you have some previous experience in Unity, you can make stuff a lot more complicated than what I have here. And obviously this is a super simple model. It's not that impressive. If I were to take a lot more time, I could create some really kind of cool and different models, play around with uploading them, add some more scene decorations and different things. I have found Spatial to be very, very user-friendly, and I'd have to download anything. I just go to spatial.io, log in, and boom, here I am in 3D, moving around in a 3D space, as easy as that. I can throw in more models, I can add in a video, I can put in all kinds of stuff, and basically create my own 3D world. So fast, so easy. You know, again, I can just click plus sign and go to Sketchfab and find anything in here. If you haven't looked at Sketchfab, you might have to log in and link the two. But you can actually bring in, like if I wanted to bring this entire low polygon medieval village or this jungle environment, people have made entire game levels, Free Fantasy Town, that you could bring into your level. So, you know, have fun. Check this out. Again, Victorian era Rome, all kinds of neat things. You can literally bring an entire living room in. You can also upload your midterm in here. So again, I could bring in this thing or that thing, and again, just by building all these different pieces in here, create whatever kind of environment, whatever kind of area, zone, virtual home I want. Now, it doesn't have all the versatility you would find something like Unity. So if you got like this, all these RPG elements would just be one block, bringing them straight from Sketchfab. But, you know, if you were to find different elements, like maybe, you know, this floating crystal, if I wanted to add it in. Again, you can kind of add them in one at a time. Although this one, maybe it's taking a while to load. It's either maybe too big or too small, since I'm not seeing anything. Oh, I forgot to lock it. Lock. Oh, there it is. So here's that crystal I brought in. I can put it wherever I want. and modify it, make it bigger, smaller, all that fun stuff too. So drop it down to the floor. Maybe change the scale. It looks like whoever made this might have set some funkiness as far as its like central location. Maybe that was on purpose. It's hard to say, maybe they did that so you wouldn't have to see the sign. Alright, you can see, here we go. There it is. It's right behind that invisible wall, but now I have this crazy crystal thing. Alright. Hopefully this helps. The biggest thing is I want you guys to play around, have fun with it, experiment, try some new things. If you've never played the game engine before, this is a game engine. You're making a 3D environment. This is a big deal. The example and the whole point of the final is really to try to add polish, try to add some upgrades, try to really improve your work for your portfolio and showcase that you can create a 3D virtual environment in the metaverse. Put that on your resume, okay? So I hope everybody had fun in the course. I hope everybody has fun in this assignment. I know we only have 1 week or so left. If you have any other questions, please reach out to me. Sorry about this kind of infinite weirdness. But I've really enjoyed being your teacher, and I can't wait to see these finished projects. I'm really excited.